Radiant team ban. Navi's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Alrighty then, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Season 3 of WePlay continues through the CIS group stage. Then we head on into EU West and we get ourselves cracking through into draft of Navi up against HellRaisers. If Eplet does decide to switch teams, which is now actually good. Yep, there we go, lagging its way through. It's a little bit naughty. Fine all week. It's being a little brat. Say, but Navi against HellRaisers is going to be an interesting match as HellRaisers have come in WePlay, replacing Stake Gaming, I believe. A lot of teams, Walrus Punch, Banded, Stake Gaming have dropped out. So we have Prius and HellRaisers.
5 seconds
but yeah, I can welcome in my co-caster. Scant is joining me today. He was stats.
Navi's turn
moving into co-caster seat now. And take a look at that, man. The Vengeful Spirit for HellRaisers in the first phase.
Yeah, it's a pretty natural response to Batrider. Never mind the fact that Vengeful Spirits is just really strong in the current metagame. Yeah, it's an interesting matchup of teams, HellRaisers versus Navi, because Navi, well known, I think, for having been good at some, and trying out different rosters, trying out different versions to get back to where they were. A lot of teams have gotten there now. Alliance, Newbie looking alright. Navi not quite. HellRaisers is actually lesser known to be, I think, actually in a very similar situation. The HellRaisers organization invested in their team. They picked up Relax, you're doing fine at one point. They used to have a lower dance at one point. They used to have Yoku. They used to have Dread. Then they picked up Compass Gaming. They got rid of one of the players and they had Dread. This is an organization that invested a lot, but it almost seems to me like the issue, even though most of their players have stayed together, is that everyone else got better and kind of left them behind. See the Shanghai major qualifiers, like there were so many strong CIS teams, and HellRaisers just, I don't feel like they've gotten a lot worse, other than the fact that they lost Dread toward the end of last year. I just feel like everyone else has gotten better around them, and in a way it's admirable that their players have stayed together despite that, but at the same time I feel like Navi come into this match as definite favorites.
Yeah, with the streak they've got, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, you look at HellRaisers and their history. Last year, DAC, it was like, oh look, it's HellRaisers. They're going to do really well going into TI5. HellRaisers in the qualifiers. Surely they're going to do pretty well there, but it was less, like you're saying, it's less of a slump of their own personal making and more that everyone else progressed past them and kind of left them in the dust. But what they get up to this time around, because Nature's Prophet,
10 seconds
a hell of a lot by CIS teams and very often paired with Zeus. Kind of begs Navi to ban out the Zeus in the ban phase. The other hero that they could have thought about is the Oracle, but they took that out in the first stage up there with the Lone Druid, Earth Spirit with Wisp taking out HellRaisers. The DP actually banned out. So Zeus is still available here for HellRaisers if they really want it. But other heroes that are still kind of left in there, what we're looking at, Faceless Void, Enchantress. Still a nasty little beast, but with Bat and Nature's Prophet, maybe less likely.
I think you're right, the Zeus is the big one. I think that maybe not leave it in because I like the Batrider versus Zeus matchup. A lot of teams have deliberately gone for that recently. Any team has Zeus, they just go for Bat mid, and it's quite possible for Batrider to bully the Zeus, make a few kills. The very well played Zeus's I've seen actually sometimes turn it around and bait Batriders, but yeah, Zeus is great with Nature's Prophet, also really great with Bench. Excellent with Spectre, so I wonder, I mean, maybe they felt like Navi can't really pick Zeus. still go back for it if we want. And Natus has become, I don't know how much you've been pubbing recently. Certainly in the pub meta, it's like B carry at the moment.
Badman. It's all down to Badman.
Yeah, exactly. Badman showed us the way to play Spectre, and the professionals all copy the way he plays as well. So very clearly, the pub and pro meta are very much about that one pub player, and it shows whoever's watching out there, like you individual pub players, regardless of whether you're in a professional team, can very much influence the way the game shifts.
Sure. Then another mainstay of the CIS region, a little bit in SEA, a little bit for like Mama's Boys and Western European play, where that Sandra Nyasha, Helma the Dominator just stack Ancients religiously and consistently kind of play style, where by 25 minutes, you know, you've got 4 or 5 big beefy items, go run into people, blink on top of them, crit them down. One big thing though is obviously once a week had passed and people realized that's what they're doing, stacking Ancients. You get heroes that can contest Ancients, you get bounty hunters to go run around and really, you know, rustle his jimmies a little bit, or you just straight up block the Ancients. A couple of sentry wards like that. So, you know, Sven still good at farming his own jungle, but HellRaisers, if they have an active lineup that can go and stacks and camps, heroes like Puck, Natus, Prophet, and Revenge, all very able to add in a spec, want herself in, around. These are very mobile heroes.
Yeah, in addition to the fact that Sven can farm stacks, it's also the Warcry I've been liking recently. Especially when you're against minus armor heroes or high physical damage heroes, so people take it against deep. Here there's the Venge, it's going to reduce armor to some extent. I will say about Sven, I think I need to double check this, so I might be wrong, but I think Sven actually, of the heroes that got picked
5 seconds remaining.
a few times, like 10 or more times at MDL, I think Sven actually had the worst win rate. It had like, it was like 2 for 12 or something. So it's one of those heroes that at some events recently it's been picked up but really not done very well at all. And I especially remember watching EG play, TZ played Sven a few games, and all of the games that he played it, including one that I actually cast, I think, it was just feeding a lot. And I felt like it was very, like, he would get a lot of farm, but he would be dying all the time, in all of the fights, and all of the pickoffs. And I felt like it was very noticeable that the hero, the way that it interacts with the game, doesn't have a very useful exit strategy. Once it's in, pushing a tile, once it's in fight, gets into trouble, it just dies. That's like Sven for you. A spec, for example, could more easily like use your mantle or diffusal blade or just your dagger to just like beep away. Whereas getting out once you're in a bad situation, problem for Sven. Obviously, kind of thing Na'Vi think about when they draft. They put like, thinking like, how do we get in, not how do we get out.
Yeah, it's not like where's the fire exit, it's where's the fire. Let's jump ourselves in. Let's commit into this and spin a fire. It's an Spirit for Na'Vi, so there's definitely that rider towards the offlane. Sven safe, Ember mid. Not.
It's very interesting actually because Ditchera had this whole Ember Spirit thing. I don't know if I ever spoke to you about this. I think I've cast a few games with people. Yeah, he didn't play the hero, he was too nervous, and then he joined Na'Vi and he was playing it every game. Now we see they pick it, but it looks like it's actually probably Dandy's hero.
Reserve time.
I actually thought at the start that the Bat would be Dandy's hero, but I guess because the Puck got picked, wasn't to Zeus or something like that, they decided that Bat Rider should be more suited to the offlane in this game.
General has been playing a lot of Bat Rider as well, so that's like his hero. That's what's kind of given them the win streak. So Bat Rider offlane was maybe more likely than not.
Yeah, I hadn't actually watched recent games, so I mean, to me, I just think of General as like, regardless of how good he is as a player, he's not problems. And like, unfortunately, Akbar was problems in this team. Like, as a player, he was very, very talented. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back into the team later on. But like at Starladder, players were talking about it and more generally, especially players from the CIS region. That whole thing that happened with him in Oddstar wasn't an isolated event. It was dynamic for a long time, and he's just a young player. And so now they've got General, who's like, I don't know how old he is, but my understanding is that he's not a problem. Cause trouble inside the team dynamic, and that could be all that Na'Vi needed. Because ask anyone who was watching Starladder, it's very clear that even though they didn't do that well in the tournaments, in most of the games, even against the biggest teams like Alliance, teams like LGD, EG, like the tournaments, Na'Vi were doing well at some points in those games for like 20-25 minutes. They ended up not being able to win. So to me, it's like changing your team dynamic from there's issues to there's not issues could make it to Na'Vi actually like, you know, becoming a really great team again. I mean, it's obviously very speculative at this point, but back to the draft, there's a last pick Night Stalker, which is a pretty direct response to Ember Spirits, and also quite good against the bats, I think, especially once you have Ags.
Yeah, and another hero that going to contest these pulls and stacks, you know, Night Stalker, himself around, ward up, block camps with his own body. Get up in the face of these heroes. Even against the Witcher, you know, we kind of look at the Witcher as a hero that's good at sustaining kind of harassment on the lane and going for a safe laner like a Sven. Night Stalker really bully him away from these pulls. Doctor does struggle sometimes up against heroes like Night Stalker, who are tanky as all hell. Now we go back for an Enigma though, and this is a hero that has kind of popped up here and there. It's definitely not a popular pick by any means, but it's definitely seeing the light of day, which hasn't been the case for a long time.
Yeah. Also interesting, I noticed just at the end of the draft, someone actually messaged Nako's drafting here. Has he been drafting like early for Na'Vi recently? Do you know? It wasn't actually Artstyle drafting this game, so like, have they changed drafters?
I'm not certain.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So, like Enigma was his hero. He last picked it himself. So classic. I know there's a lot of teams where there's like in jokes about like picking for yourself, but I think the Enigma's actually a really nice pick here. Not because, I mean, you might think there's Venge, there's Pike, they can stop Black Hole, whatever, but I think HellRaisers were a little bit greedy, honestly, picking up that Night Stalker, because Venge and Night Stalker are both not very strong supports for like the early laning stage. So you pick this Enigma and it's like, not like they can come and invade your jungle very easily with those heroes. So you're just gonna get the value that you want. And I don't know if it was necessary for HellRaisers to we saw the motivation of the Night Stalker, but at the same time, you've got Nature's Prophet and Spectre. There's a lot of, you know, there's enough greed for your team. You don't need to like slip between them. Neither one of them exerts pressure early on. So I like that Seneko latched onto that and was like, okay, I want to actually punish that. Picks the Enigma.
Kind of why I wanted to see something like a Bounty Hunter from HellRaisers. You know, just the fact that you can control lanes. You've got a similar role to the Night Stalker. I guess the silence from NS does come in super handy. Game up against Dendy's Ember Spirit. The Bounty Hunter would have given you like mid-game power to get the tracks out. Nice boost of gold if you win a couple of team fights, but you don't know the Enigma's coming, obviously. Bounty would have been great to go and sneak into jungle and be annoying against the Enigma. If only the pick order had been reversed and the HellRaisers would have gone. As it stands, standard lanes pretty much from both teams. Shock Spec, down on the Venge, YOLO Warrior, Ivan, Night Stalker, and just Puck, all heading down towards his bot rune, where General says, screw this, you have the rune.
The battle begins.
Testing, stands back with his Bat Rider. Nako's Enigma just prepped himself to deny one of the creeps mid, head back to the fountain. And honestly, I haven't seen this in a long time. A lot of Enigmas nowadays, they wait till the lane reaches kind of ramp, basically, dives one of the creeps, and then clarity's up to head into the jungle with those Eidolons. But right now, Seneko, there's going to be this kind of timing, where he gets into the jungle, the Eidolon's up and fresh, and he can also harass the Puck with the Eidolons he's already got out. Big reason he's doing this, but he doesn't let Alpha Ninja get one of them actually, sneaks a little after in there. Then he can deny the rest.
I'm looking at the top lane, Artstyle's fighting one tree. He's been fighting it since the lane stage started and tree runs away, now it's getting denied by Shackler. I wanted to actually say, that's why I was looking at Artstyle. I'm talking about how Nightstalk and Venge, neither of them really put that much pressure on the lane early on. Witch Doctor actually puts a lot. That's one of the reasons, other than just the being so good, the skill set in general being so good. One of the reasons the very favorites are a lot on its own. And so there's this bizarre effect where I almost feel like even though Na'Vi have a jungler and one support, they can potentially like the Witch Doctor can do just as much for the lanes as both the Venge and the Nightstalker put together.
Alpha Ninja sitting deep in behind that tier 1 tower, just getting these clicks in onto Dendy, making sure he's controlling this lane and wave. Dendy with a 4-man shield and double salve, looking to play a little more aggressively up into this Puck before the levels. Waiting Rift and Orb pumping that damage into him, because Puck, honestly, damage output wise, ability to pop the shield, pretty intense. Well, once it gets up to like level 4 or 5.
Have you seen what this Nightstalk is doing?
The Iron Talon jungling? Oh, of course he is.
Yeah, he is. Dandy's actually... No, he's okay. It's fine. But this is like... I almost feel like they originally picked Nightstalker because of the Ember and the Bat. And then they see that the Na'Vi take a jungler, they're like, okay, we need to get some greedy value as well. But it's Nightstalker is not gonna get as much value as quickly as Enigma. There's no way in hell that's gonna happen.
I don't know. I've seen a couple of Faceless Voids go back into the jungle and get level 5 by 4.5 minutes. Wise is good, but gold wise, and then obviously getting into like mech and your Eidolons and things like that, it's not going to be as extended with value you get.
I mean, there's a difference between like for me. I totally understand offlane is going to the jungle with Iron Talon, but I feel like one of your supports just game, like you'd rather just have jungling hero. Like honestly, I'm gonna say this and like please forgive me because should not be said on stream, but honestly it would have been better to have a Legion commander. Like
Legion
it's
commander.
Also really good against it's also really good against the Bat and the Ember Spirit, and it's a natural jungler. So like if this is what Nightstalker's doing, then I really think they might as well have had a Legion. That's
honestly blasphemy. The amount of times I get Legion command, like I'm actually okay with it now. That Iron Talon's an item. No, so I've come to terms with Legion Commander Jungle, now that Iron Talon is an item, and they actually do stuff. They get a reasonable amount of farm, and Iron Talon does boost them up a fair amount.
Did you see in the MDL, I think it was in the Grand Finals actually, maybe the semi-finals, there was a game that Lanham actually played support Legion, and he wasn't even jungling. He like didn't even take his path. He was literally support Legion.
See that. Was like Abaddon banned?
Yeah, I think the Baron was banned, and they were getting bats, and there were two synergies. It was like you could take off the bat ulti, and then also that it had a lone druid invoker strat, so it was like alacrity plus press attack on the bear, and then just ham kind of thing.
Nasty. Well, Dendy is definitely bullying this Alpha Ninja Puck a fair amount, with a sleight of fist being spammed down here. He's also keeping R in terms of these last hits, you know, 5, 17, and 3, but it's the Enigma. 29. Old last hits, being through these creep pack camps over and over, while the Nightstalker, okay, he has to make trip back to the fountain, heal himself up. He's got a smoke now, but he's level 3 at 4 minutes. First nighttime roaring in now, and this is where maybe he starts to make the rotation. As Shachlo, oh, he's moved too far forward, gets his observer ward down, but he's being chased out by that stun from Sven, and they've caught him completely with his pants down. Nature's Prophet, down you go, and this could easily turn into a push.
Why has Nightstalker not leveled his passive yet? He like considering taking the silence because he's like running up and down. It's nighttime, and you know I feel like he's wasting time. At that point in Hands in the Night, then you'll get to the camp into the fountain a bit faster.
Maybe if there's an opportunity, he can go for it. Point, he just wants to farm more jungle camps. Oh no, he's smoking with Goddamn Sven.
He's actually considering that silence might be play, which is, I mean, I think it's extremely unorthodox. Like, you often do see Nightstalkers get an early point in silence, but it's not usually ahead of the very first hunt in the night point.
Stop that Firefly, it's one way to go about it. Start off with Void from Nightstalker, then in with the Magic Missile. The thing I'm doing here is General is a little far forward. He throws the sticky napalm and he's got the Firefly to escape as well. The stun still comes through and the damage from Undershot, it's good, but it's not good enough. General just skitters his way to the top of those trees, back to safety.
So he took the silence after all and then didn't get it off on time. So Firefly had already happened.
And we need to wonder, what if they move towards mid to kill off Dendy? No silence before that Flame Guard comes up.
So fast.
Ivan found General, and the TP in for the Nature's Prophet's pretty good as well, but General turned his back, and now Stachlo with Ivan, they're in a pretty nasty situation. They don't know where to go. They'll turn and run, but they turn to fight. Try and find General here.
There's 5 edge strikers here.
The net is closing, honestly. Dendy's coming from the side, Navi, they're ready to fight. Ancient Pit they go, art style, the Lonely Witch Doctor, silence the nuke, but goddamn, the stun on Dendy's good, the black hole comes through for Seneca, but it only catches one. They've killed off a bunch on the side, those Generals caught. The puck, get the Dream Coil down, but Dendy is just clearing through heroes. They finally lose the Enigma, and the Sven stun dodge. Alpha Ninja gets himself away, but it's not far enough. 2 for 2. An Enigma Witch Doctor for a puck and Vengeful Spirit. I think Navi feel pretty happy with this trade so far.
Like, even though Navi ended up sending most of their team, they didn't, and as you know, they kind of just came right at the end. Whereas HellRaisers' entire team was spending a lot of time running up and down looking for something to do for kill. A lot of time wasted in comparison in terms of like how much time you're not farming. So I think it's a pretty big win for Navi.
that downtime they had, like you said, you know, Natus Prophet TPing in, just walking around, looking for kill, looking for the poke and prod. Navi, they got Sven involved, and Ditchira currently sitting at 40 last hits, level 7. 400 net worth, this Sven. 3 points in cleave, and about to get his Helm of the Dominator. The next minute or so, that's when we see him head into the jungle, that's when we see him start to stack these actual ancient camps up. But more than that, we actually start to see the supports come and take this lane. Witch Doctor, Artstyle, can get level 6. Batrider maybe can come up here and get that guaranteed dedicated farm. Yep. He walks into the Venge. It's a stun and run from that spirit though as she bails herself away.
I've been considering placing a ward for a really long time, ran into the rush pit, considered going for the same one Navi had, eventually went around, but then found hasn't actually placed the ward at all. I've got to say it's really nice that Navi have that clip ward up early as the Dire side. It's very often we see the Radiant side get ward up early and really punish the Dire force, and if you have it up yourself as a Dire early on, it makes it a lot more difficult. But at the top rune, it looks like Sneko might be in trouble here. Yeah, he's dead.
That's a nasty bit of pain put on him. Alpha Ninja, still holding on to the Dream Coil and with an Invis rune. Just have to be wary about his position. That silence from Alpha Ninja. To bring him down, that's a level 4 Waning Rift actually out of him. Got the stun from Goddamn to follow through if they really feel they need to.
The early maxed Waning Rift says to me that he really wants to be able to kill Dandy early on in this game. Probably the purpose of it, like combine with the Venge or Nightstalk or even the Spectre. That's so far unable to kill Dandy, and now there's gonna be rotation to the lane. That's where Puck is gonna go use the Dream.
Echo, 45 seconds until you've got the black hole. They've smoked up behind General here, but Artstyle, the smoke will pop, they'll run themselves in, but Alpha Ninja's there, ready with a 2-man coil, and it's fast them both up as well. Dendy wants to get in on this team fight. They've forced HellRaisers back and away for a fight that looked like a pretty good start, but I guess it would have turned out to be a 3 versus 4. General with that Firefly up, you don't want to be walking into the steam farm. There was no more reactions from the rest of HellRaisers. Big thing is, General's sitting on 1400 gold. He's gonna get his Blink Dagger super soon.
Yeah, and that's always a big timing. For the history of Dota, whenever Batrider has been in the game, Blink timing is like the first big timing of the game, regardless of which other heroes are in the game. I will say, the Nightstalk that I was talking about so much earlier, a lot of time gone back to farm, and I was wondering if he'd go for the Natus, but he's just gone straight for the point. So his Ags will be a big timing as well, especially in relation to Batrider's Blink and Pretty 4 stuff, because once Nightstalk has Ags during nighttime, it's going to be difficult Bat to catch for. But obviously that's much further down the line, and Batrider likely to get the Blink very soon actually.
It's one of the big... I guess that's one of the bigger problems with Iron Talon, is that it's like a pseudo Midas, right? It's gold expended in order to gain gold in the future.
Dendy's caught.
I don't know if it's Dendy's that's caught, it's Goddamn that's caught the Vengeful Spirit in between 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dendy's caught Puck, but I was like, I'm not sure if he's
caught
Puck. So...
It looked like Dendy had walked into a Puck Venge gank squad, and then all of a sudden the rest of Na'Vi come in to clear up. Yeah, Iron Talon is like a cheap Midas. You know, you're expending gold in order to gain gold in the future. Kind of deal.
Yeah, it's when you're an offlaner, buying Iron Talon is just always like, if it looks like you could get a good value out of your lane without buying it, probably shouldn't. Like, normally when the offlaners buy Iron Talon, because it's not going to be worth their while to try and access the lane without it, so they want to be able to go back to the jungle. But there definitely is a trade-off. If you end up just spending a lot of time in the lane, then you like feel a bit silly about buying the Iron Talon for sure.
Radiant's top tower is under
Artstyle,
attack.
poor little sod, at the bottom of the net worth, but it's fine, it's fine. He's getting a lot of value for his team, getting himself to level 6 at this point. Death Ward's a big old spell.
Ditchira got it. Buying omelets, right? You might have the whole...
Right.
Quiet.
Done. What's he up to? Oh, he's disassembling. Ah. Interesting.
That's efficiency. So he just uses the Helm of Doms to make stacks and, well, discover enemy smoke gang.
Up that hill. Walked into it. But yeah, we often see just raw Helm of the Dominator, then some people go drums, some people go for like the Sound and Yasha. This armlet timing, 11.5 minutes in, is so effective at clearing out these stacks. But I guess he still goes back into Helm after clearing this stack, right? And then be into like Blink.
Oh, this is clever. Feeling the recent change in the previous patch or the one before. You never used to be able to But obviously recognizing they couldn't contest the ancient stack, he just TPs in the brush pit and got a whole level out of that by the looks of it. So I don't know how close he was to the level. He definitely leveled up.
How do you feel about these Nature's Prophets with the bass drums? It's a little bit different to the Null Blade Mail, a little bit different to the Shadow Blade Midas we used to see. It's good old stats, but
good. I mean, it's like, I mean, the most direct answer is everyone's doing it because Bulldog does it now. And that's kind of like the way it is. If a player's like clearly the best player at a hero, then you build. Same thing we said about Badman Spectre. But also, you could see why Bulldog started doing it. Like, Drum has just become a more popular item again. It got buffed actually in the patch. Part of why I got buffed is because they introduced Dragon Lance. People were like, too many competing items, the Drum needs a small buff. But I actually think the Drum itself didn't need a buff, but it was just like, we're prioritizing other items, but we're prioritizing other heroes before. And Drum is actually a very, very good item, very, very cost effective with the stats you get.
Sure, and it also keeps your builds relatively open. You know, it doesn't force you down one avenue or another. You can still go back for Orchid, you can go back for Force Staff, Mech with some utility profits. Don't think we've seen too much of like the Necrobook split push profit anymore. It's more about TPing and joining your team rather than actually ratting it out and pushing into towers. And just a little more tankiness on your Furion, a little more utility as you've gone in. Point Navi. You got a Blink Dagger. Go back for the Helm.
The net worth, he's just much as compared to anyone else. I mean, he didn't leave his lane match at the start, and he farmed with inch stack. And I haven't seen him really like use his net worth yet, but it's the right fight. It could be like catastrophic actually with the armlet and the blink and the strength. That's what I was gonna say earlier actually. I talked about Enigma being good value because HR to contest the jungle, but it's also with the Ember Spirit and the Sven as your two carries. Anytime you get a good black hole, the people in it are probably gonna die the later the game goes because you got huge cleaving heroes.
Dude, guess that armlet, I think in that strength, it's even stronger now. Seneko, he's got himself Mech and a cloak. Big Glimmer Cape, I guess. Set invis, no BKB or Blink Dagger in sight here. Seneko trying to shove into the tier 1 tower down the bottom lane, but the rest of Na'Vi, General with his Blink Dagger and TP scroll ready to react onto this tower, and Dendi, pretty standard so far, but to travel with the bottle ring of Aquila. The actual Blink Dagger over and puck that I'm really looking forward to the initial usage of. Gonna show it off here onto General, but General just flaps his wings, flies around a little bit, up onto the high ground. He will still die. A little old Night Stalker comes in, but on the back end, T-Jaws galore, the Vengeful Spirit was caught. Ra still has armlet up, has a dagger available, but doesn't have mana for stun until he strengthens Toggle. He toggles on his treads. The black hole onto the puck, and trying to clear him up as well, but Digira's dead. And Upper Ninja just pops the stick charges, turns the fight, and Dendi forced the remnant away as Seneko left to the wolves, but TP's about successfully. Did lose 3 there. Na'Vi got a little bit angry getting into the jungle.
Yeah, Na'Vi really need to get some kind of successful control if they need a very important bad ulti or good stun, good gains, good cast. I mean, all of the heroes, all 5 of the heroes could be control, but it didn't really happen properly in that fight, and especially the Enigma. I feel like you see a downside of the hero where initially a bit unlucky actually. Seneko just didn't have Soaring cooldown, didn't have mana to black holes, even though there was a good couldn't use it. Then when he's got mana, they're just kiting him, and then these force black hole one hero, they don't even kill that hero, and oh yeah, I still think Na'Vi's lineup, you know, fast forward 10-15 minutes, that kind of a fight looks very good for them. But right now, it's very important that they're landing at least one of their disable souls has to like really well in that it disables multiple heroes.
Got to connect onto multiple targets here, definitely. Going the way you want, because the puck is a slippery little devil. Can wrangle its way, can weasel its way out of any situation, honestly, with that Blink Dagger, and I'm kind of wondering where puck goes on from here. We've seen the precedent of Fuel Scepter obviously being probably the more well-rounded build, just giving you another escape mechanism, a good way to cancel TPs after your Dreamfire is already utilized. And then it's like Aghanim Scepter. You are looking at Bat, Sven, and Enigma, who all kind of like to go BKBs. But at this point, Alpha Ninja just open, keep your mind clear, shove on into the tier 1, but look what's the Roche bit, guess who's there? Dikira! Kind of Son of Raw right here going into the Roshan pit, and they've cleared this up pretty nicely. There's not a real good way for HellRaisers to get themselves over to the pit to react to this. They'll start TPing now. Might have time. They might have time to get in there. They've got a smoke over on someone. In comes the smoke on Furia. Roshan's dropping low. Roshan's already dead. And HR, they don't have the opportunity to get in there and contest. Bail. Run. Hide.
Not Knights and LT's only just cooled down right now. Yeah, I think that's the biggest barrier. Although speaking of Nightstalker, the best thing happening in the game for HR right now is that actually he's very close to Aghanim Scepter. And I spoke about how the gap between Batrider's Blink and Nightstalker's Scepter is a very important one, but I don't think Bat's Blink is really done much actually, and Nightstalker's gonna have Scepter soon, and even though it's, I mean, sure, he doesn't have...
Oh, he's gonna do something now. Catch the spec.
So the one downside for Nightstalker is that he still only has level 1 ulti. He's actually gonna get a Scepter with level 1 ulti still. Higher levels will definitely help in terms of the duration. During nighttime, once he has Scepter, it's difficult for Na'Vi to get a positional advantage, which I almost feel like it now incentivizes Na'Vi playing the farming game for a while. Well, at the same time, because they've got the Aegis, they might want to just try and force a team fight.
Radiant's
But
middle
in terms of
tower
like,
is under attack.
you know, Batrider was their plan A in terms of like getting the control of fights or a skirmish, and Nightstalker Axe online. Korea is sending it to them right now. Nighttime is really gonna make it difficult for Batrider to back to if the Nightstalker is positioning well.
I was looking at that cloak on Seneko and thinking, you know, Glimmer Cape, maybe just keep it as a casual cloak, but he's full in for the fight. Even without having arcane boots or anything here. Oh, they've jumped forward up and Ninja. He tried to escape from Dendi, but he's into the claws, into the slamming hammer here of Ninja. Cleaves him through. And Dendi's on the hunt for more with a DD Rooney catches YOLO Warrior. Imvan, safe and tanky back there with his axe, but clear up the tier 1 tower at mid. The rest of HellRaisers. Bramble all jets, panic stations, put tier 1s on side lanes, just try and get as much value as you can. Because Na'Vi, they're knocking on the door of the tier 2. Ditchiro has his god strength up, he's got Aegis of the Immortal. And Na'Vi look like they're in for a pretty cracking push here.
Radiant's middle tower has
I
fallen.
actually really like the pipe build-up. I mean, it's something we've seen on Enigma before, precisely to go for early pushes. What Dandy's actually chasing Shaklo, and he's got chains, so Shaklo can't really do anything about this.
Or the
Tries
Sprout.
for the Sprouts, but
Oh, the movement from General's there. Just peeking his head over, backing himself up. Oh, goddamn, it's caught as well. The Vengeful Spirit with arcane boots. There's no flame break. There's nothing to stun him.
an interesting turn of events. I'm sure he thought for a while he's probably gonna die, and then like I can TP out. Oh well, lucky me. But yeah, going back to the Enigma's pipe, it's firstly just not that unusual, I think, in a pushing lineup. Although I was just talking about how Na'Vi could go late if they want to. The other thing also is that if you look at HR's damage, it's very much all magic.
Dire's middle tower
They'll
is
get
under
to the
attack.
physical damage eventually, but they really aren't there yet. Like
Radiant's bottom
nukes,
tower
small
is under
nukes,
attack.
basically, that's stealing all of the damage. So the pipe will really give Na'Vi an edge in a fight.
You know who has been really quiet this game? Stock on the Spectre. He's being pinged out right now by the Witch Doctor, like, guys, there's a Spectre in this game. Should we go and do something about it? 1-1 and 3 currently. I think we've seen like 1 Haunt or something in minutes of gameplay. Nothing amazing. Oh, over in the jungle. Coil stops the advance in general. Alpha Ninja's still caught, though. Phase shift is there, but I don't think there's a real good way to escape out of this. Phase shift into orb and maybe jump down, up, sideways, jump into grave. Fuck. Taken out by Endy's Ember Spirit once more.
Under attack.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about the Spectre. I think the Iron Talon pickup on the Spectre also starts. I'm not sure if this is something that Badman ever does. I don't know if you. Pretty sure in his normal build he doesn't.
No, I don't think it's.
I don't know. I feel like the Iron Talon. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but you often want Quelling Blade anywhere on Spectre, right? But I still feel like early on it might be a sign of like wanting to be able to farm the jungle. It's also a sign of like not feeling that comfortable taking those early fights, because a lot of the time the early build up on Spectre is about like getting to your drone really quickly so you can actually fight as soon as possible, and that didn't really happen for HR this game.
I don't think it's in the regular build. Usually it's like phase drums, urn, go into your Yasha, and then at that point you kind of decide, oh, see, stop. He can escape just a mat. Oh, Ditchiro blinks in with a god strength up as well. Seneko wants the stun, wants the black hole, but it's going to be General who pushes Undershock back into lasso range. They nearly had Dendi. They were so close.
Yeah,
Just away from securing that big kill.
Kind of haunt you're talking about. That's what we like expect Spectres to be doing in the current meta game, and first time it looks very, very promising, and Dendi makes down this level of HP. Gotta feel bad for HR there.
This is an Emperor rushing into Manta style. And I guess against the silence of that Night Stalker, we did cause a lot of troubles there. Poor little flame dude. Well, Manta style it's going to be, and he's relatively close to that as well. While you look at the Spectre, still is 1900 gold away. That ultimate orb definitely what needs. Oh, art style being closed in on the net. It's wrapping, and art style is stunned and silenced in the trees, but he's healing through it. He's actually surviving until the final lightning proc will finish him off and secure it. But at least Chancellor does get himself a kill and the tier 1, but it's the regoot. It's the jump back in. Up on it, you want the trees call it the 2-player heal is there from the mech from Seneko, keeping General up and running, healthy to turn back onto the puck and basically kill the poor little devil off. Blink away, you're all out, but Alpha Ninja, are you going to escape? General doesn't want you to. The flame break, throw it, throw it! General, please, I beg!
He hesitated a bit there. I feel like he could have gotten it on time.
Good. He could have, would have, should have, but he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, the Mansa and Dendi's also like, a lot of Ember Spirit players like being in this position where you're not actually the main farmer, the Sven is, you're like the backup carry. So if you're the main farmer, if they didn't have a Sven, there'd be pressure on him. It'd be like, if you rush the Mansa, you don't get the battle free as quickly, which means farm is slower. It's really not a big deal here, and Dendi's actually going hunting. He jumps up.
He's fine. Right here is like the point where you look at...
Night Stalker.
Dendi, have you ever stayed? No Manta style, no way to escape, and down you go, and Star Streak goes the way of nature's prophet.
It's like complete Night Stalker's Aghanims. I think they actually saw where Dendi went, or like at least got a hint of where he went after his jump.
Looking at some super pushing power here from Na'Vi. Pipe and mech done. Arcanes for Seneko as well, all up and ready. Poor little art style is still pretty poor down at the bottom though. 3,300 net worth, not an amazing amount. That's Solar Warrior. This Night Stalker, Gem, Iron Talon, Aghanim Step to giving Supreme Vision. The fact he hasn't died yet is pretty good as well. 207 his score. I guess he's never put himself in a situation where he can die. He's always been in the jungle.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, he's played it exactly the way the Chinese offlane Night Stalker play, just he wasn't an off. And I guess it works out on the flip side of what I was saying before, that Na'Vi ran Enigma in the jungle, so it lets the enemy support us the jungler. I still feel like the Enigma gets a lot more value, but as things have turned out, the Night Stalker's actually turned out to be great value too.
That's your Manta style perspective. Now at least Undershot can really aim, kill off someone like the Witch Doctor or the Enigma in the back end of play with Manta style illusions, shooting out so much desolate damage. But honestly, Witch Doctor cannot sustain through. HellRaisers not looking for a fight, cruising for a bruising, but Na'Vi are. They're the ones with power behind them. The real good old Seneko Enigma. I mean, honestly, he is just a walking fountain at this point. Arcane's mech pipe, what more could you ask for?
Level 4 Witch Doctor heal.
Radiant's bottom
That in. Throw it into the mix. Two walking fountains.
Right. Spectre top kills off the Batrider. The push down at bot, Dendi. Slamming away at his tier 3, tier 2 even. Looks like they want to come back and defend though. Arstar's prepping himself, the pings come out and HellRaisers know what's up.
So the reason General dies actually is Na'Vi didn't think HR would try trade bars, so General was there thinking to defend against 1 or 2 heroes. Precisely because HR actually can't trade. I mean, you see they don't even get the tower despite kill. It's because they thought that HR couldn't get the tower, General thought it would be safe to be standing at the tower, and it actually wasn't. Yeah, I'm really happy to see Aether Lens on Bench Spirit. Happened in the last game too. In fact, I was hoping to get a chance to stat it, but that game kind of just ended. Only bought on 15% of Vengers this patch, although to be fair, there's a lot of carry Vengers that don't like to buy it. But there's also plenty of support Vengers that don't, and I personally think as a support Venge, this is probably your preferred luxury item if you don't have to get a 4-star or Glimmer Cape. Back like not so long ago, Vengeful Spirit's level 3 ulti used to be something like, I don't know, 900 range. That's level 1 with it. She's really, really good.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And you know, a lot of people are still in the old days of why the Dire and the Venge. We're gonna see the Haunt come in, the Aegis is picked up and killed by the Dire, they've got it, and the Black Hole gets goddamn.
Dire's
That's it, they killed the Venge. Good job, Snake, you got him. Made sure he was bloody well dead. Undershock will get himself away though. Whilst Alpha Ninja just hide in the trees. Himself away. Gonna get found. They're trying to clear through the jungle, they're trying to find him. Ditchira blinks up, but not far enough, and Undershock self to safety. In the meantime, Nature's Prophet was shoving top a little bit. Still an Aegis take. Pretty nice and clean by Na'Vi.
That was pretty awkward for HellRaisers. He had his ulti on, but it was gonna run out really soon. They had advantage, they could swap one out. They're thinking like, various things we could do here. We might as well try. I think in the end their play was just to in and try and steal the rush Aegis, the Venge. Like suicide mission, but it didn't really work out.
What, Ditchira just continues farming? 15,000 they're worth almost up on this Sven. We've seen bigger Svens, honestly. We have seen Svens get a ton more net worth than this, but honestly, selling armor into an MKB at this point through the old silence from the Night Stalker, that is taking chance, it's pretty annoying, but his general is caught with the Yule Scepter, and they turn it straight back onto Ivan. You're the warrior, not long for this world. It's happening, Jay. What have you got left? Orb and blink. You do not have phase shift. You blink away your orb, you shift now, and you try to jump, you're getting yourself further and further away, but the blink dagger from Ditchira, the mobility of these Na'Vi heroes, it is just insurmountable. Dendi and Ditchira are everywhere on this map.
They're both mobile, and I want to say they both cleave, but actually we're gonna say Ember Spirit cleaving in this game. Not yet, anyway. And their final form is gonna be pretty disgusting, and I mean that in a positive way. Disgusting strong. Well, and having that much damage output with a cleave.
Yeah, you'd never dare call a team or player disgusting, would you, Gant? There'd be outcry on Reddit. Words like this.
I mean, I actually wouldn't, and I think that's part like if you're using it just to actually say like they disgust you. That's a bit weird. But,
Dire's bottom tower is under
I just feel like I mean, I probably wouldn't say that in general in any kind of.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, that's just the slam jam. Shout onto the poor little Vengeful Spirit. Ditchira like 3 hits there after the Stormhammer comes through.
Did you say that kill disgusted you?
Yeah, the manner in which Ditchira just demolished that Venge disgusted me. She was pulp,
yeah.
Pulp on the road.
But it's not because Ditchira is a disgusting person, right?
Oh. Of course not. He just does disgusting things.
Radiant's middle barracks.
But that's I mean, you know, that's the thing. In Dota we call things disgusting or filthy or dirty, and it really like it's a saying, wow, look how much a really powerful thing you did, no one could do anything about. Or so yeah, I think there's a distinction to be made. Like, I think I'd probably have an issue with a commentator like just saying a particular player is a disgusting person. Like,
I'm sure nobody does that.
Yeah, probably not. I can't remember doing that.
Maybe maybe the good Kappa. Maybe Grand. You never know.
Yeah, where the game's looking right now, there is actually cleave on the Ember Spirits. It's almost like, I don't know, the lead is so big, but I feel like the Ember or the Sven, either one of them could like AFK for a couple minutes and Na'Vi will be fine. They could sort of do the job on their own. Both of them, it just feels like Na'Vi could just force things. They're trying to. They are putting as much pressure on them as they can by split pushing lanes. Honestly, I mean it's very good to enemy team is barreling down a lane because it forces them to dive. Na'Vi kind of feel pressure to actually go for something really quickly. Their lanes are coming in.
So this is honestly just a bulldozer. Ichira's taking the tier 3 down to half HP in a matter of seconds, and there's no glyph here for HellRaisers. they want to get something done. They've got to TP back and try and fight into this, and that's what Ninja does. He jumps forward, Dreamcore's 3, the Stormhorn is there, but where's the damage? Everybody on Na'Vi is healthy as all hell, and Shutflow's there with his BKB Mjolnir procking away, but it's not enough. Arstar looks at it go, and Snakeo... Is there someone there? There is someone there. There's a Puck. I was looking at that for a second, wondering who the frick is these black holes? But Puck is caught. Buyback's available. Aegis is gone, but Dicturad just jumped straight on forward. Undershock to the one that's now being slapped down into the ground by Goddamn. Swaps him back to safety into the fountain. Dendy tries, gives it a go, and the Flamethrower to get broken off here by the Yulstep to silence up as well. He's got his match style though. Dendy should be able to maneuver pop himself out of this with a remnant to safety. It's HellRaisers and O1 just being crushed under the power of Dicturad Sven's hammer. And honestly, what's left in the tank?
No, I would say that Aghanim, Sept, and Nature's Prophet can always just like split push and push latest out, but this is not a Nature's Prophet event for Aghanim, Sept, so that whole plan is kind of like counteracted by the fact that he decided to go for fighting builds while Puck dies again. That's a dieback, right? Yeah, and that's GG.
That's game. Well, Na'Vi keep that streak going. HellRaisers, they put up a decent showing. An unorthodox draft. No jungling Night Stalker, not something we see every day. The Spectre was very quiet for the first 15 minutes or so. But I've got to say, I really enjoyed Apple Ninja's Puck. That put on an amazing show, honestly. He was outplaying Na'Vi a little bit here and there. Withstand the power of that Pipe, Greaves, Vlad's Enigma, Witch Doctor with level 4 Voodoo Restoration, and the Sven. Then with double S and Y, you know, that's definitely the build now. Go into your pubs, guys. 2 Sand and Yashas, go and win.